creation finds its voice again.
The mothers have returned. Behold, the Matriarch.
We are the light, the water, and the shadow.
All right. Aí, Bobo, Jay.
I say, peace and blessings to the tribe, peace and blessings to the clans. Tonight, this is Matriarch Monday, and the goddess, she asked me to do something that I didn't feel like I had to do. It's Matriarch Monday. She said, introduce her, but I don't think I need to. But just in case, we are here tonight with the goddess Hathor, aka the voodoo diva. How you doing, goddess?
Peace and blessings, brother. All is well. All is in divine order. Your hat is amazing, by the way. You know it every time, brother. You look amazing. I love the hat.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I've known you for a couple of years now. I followed your page, followed your work for a couple of years now. And can you please tell the tribe, since this is the first time you are on Matriarch Monday, and hopefully not the last, but can you please tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yes, definitely. So, by bloodline, I am an Haitian voodoo priestess, specifically in the rites of indigenous voodoo, Afro-indigenous voodoo, the power of who we are. We know that we may learn in different ways, but it all comes back to one central energy. So that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years online. Previously to that, I was dealing in the community, but not online. So I opened myself up back in roughly around 2016 or so to the public. I started a YouTube channel known as XLab TV. Previous to that, it used to just be called the Voodoo Diva, and then it went from the Voodoo Diva to the Voodoo Diva and God to now it's XLab TV. So, nonetheless, that is a channel that I started on my own, and then slowly but surely incorporated my king as well, because he has amazing spiritual gifts as well. So we, got together, did it as a tribe, and it's just been on fire ever since. My passion is teaching. My passion is loving up on my people. The power of nourishment, the power of spirit is how we activate and ignite all of the elements, all of the things that matter in this life. So one of the biggest noted things on my channel that we've become kind of infamous for are my teaching or tutorials, if you will, like my teachings on the different spirits, on the Loa. For example, I've had videos, of course, everything from Papa Lekba to Lenglesu to Baba Sandi to Gede and just all of the different, I like to call them American Loa, because it's really indigenous American Loa. I know a lot of times people say Haitian Loa, but it really is not limited to Haitian people. And that's because that the whole Americas was here practicing these ancient traditions long before we gave them these labels, if you will. So these are just the practice of the elements of who we are. Now, not to get off track, I currently teach. I have a monthly membership that I offer as far as teaching, where we do everything from meditations to rituals to truly learning more about the culture and of the way. So that's number one. And number two, one of my other favorite things is, of course, creating. Just as brother is creative, my creation is being in the kitchen. I love to make the candles. I love to make the herbs. I love to make all of the things that we could use to just be better spiritual individuals. Okay, so everything from spiritual baths all the way to, of course, divination. That's the way I got started, actually, was divinating on Facebook and YouTube, and one thing caught to the other. As far as online goes, like I said, I've been doing that before in the community, and I lived in New York. I recently moved over to Florida, so I'm down south now. And obviously this is not new to me because I used to live in Florida as well. So long story short, I've kind of spent half and half in Florida, half in New York. And, it just, the spirit was calling me back to come down. And I know it's energy attached to it. I know it's a lot of things for me personally, now that I'm a mother. I have a 4-year-old, it's my first child. And hopefully it won't be the last. But, I'm just really excited because just, being chosen for a path has its ups and downs. But when you can look back honestly and say that your life has been fulfilled literally to being of servitude to other people, you truly know that you are blessed. You know that no matter what chaos is going on in the world, your energy will remain constant. You will always remain like grounded into who you are, what you do, because you know that it is divine work. So that's really what I'm honored to say. So basically, in Iceland voodoo, when you are someone who teaches and are of the spirit like that, they call you a mambo. Okay, so my name is Mambo Hathor Akunaten, aka the Voodoo Diva. So Mambo is the title you earn once you've obviously initiated and done certain things. My channel really just goes through my story, the times I've been mounted by spirit. I've had one or two videos I was lucky enough that spirit allowed me to share. And it's just been a real serious journey since like 2017, strongly all the way up till now. So I just say about what 8 years or so running, and again, just in the public eye anyway. But I wouldn't have it any other way. All the ups and downs, all of the obstacles, all of the the haters, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the good shit, all the in between shit, But you know that if you have that, then you're doing something right. And so when you learn and you become more mature, it comes with the territory. Right? People hate what they don't understand. When you're shining just too damn bright, that shit blinds people. And so you just have to let that be what it's going to be and move forward anywho. So I shout out all my brothers and sisters who are finding their way, halfway in their way, just starting their way, whatever you are doing, just make sure you stick to it, be true to yourself. So that is what I am all about. I have a website, obviously, that deals with all of the things I'm speaking of. We can get to that later, obviously. I'll share it in the, brother can share it in the chat or whatever as to, getting in reach with me if necessary, whatever. I'm just really happy to be here tonight. It's been a while. And you know that, brother, like it's been a minute since I've
I
been
remember at one point in time, you had, I want to say one of your pages, it might have been on Instagram, you had like maybe 40,000 followers, and then your page just disappeared.
Yeah, it got hacked. My page was hacked.
Yeah.
A company or so-called that posed as a company to do some work promotionally for me, and then it turned out being more of some like weird scammy stuff. So yeah, I was at like about 30K on IG when that happened to me. So I left that space and then took a break altogether, because then I was still dealing with just having a baby, just all the things that come along. I took a nice little break. I got back on. I was always on YouTube. So I was on YouTube just indefinitely, not so much on IG, and then and Facebook as well. So Facebook I kind of, for the most part, never left behind, because I had a couple groups privately that I run on there. One for the Smart Spiritual Sisters, another one, Voodoo, the Final Frontier. That's the first one. That's like my staple one. The one I created right when I started the YouTube channel. That's the same exact one, or the time I should say, that I started the Facebook channel. So they kind of go hand in hand. It's just like a baby of mine. And so I've always made it my business to be more on Facebook. I literally only recently made another IG page and just kind of synced both pages from Facebook to Instagram. So I'm building myself back up slowly but surely with that or whatever. But always remain the teachings, all the jewels. So I wasn't so pressed, if that makes sense, I was like, I'm working outside of it, and it's okay too sometimes to just not be online,
Yes, ma'am. A couple of years ago, I remember where we had a big boom of consciousness, and I think all of us was going like kind of viral at one point in time. I think I had like 15,000 on Facebook, and then mine got shut down. So we all noticed that there was a spiritual attack or verbal attack, you know what I'm saying, where they stopped us from speaking out and everything else, and they found reason to shut everybody's page down. But I also like it, the fact that it doesn't matter. The people that rock with you are gonna rock with you regardless, and that's when you weed out the ones that's we would say the monetary spirits and the agents. We don't have to look at them so much, because we shared the old page, and then you still got 2,000 or 3,000 people still follow you from your last page that really know what you've been doing and know the work you've been doing. I love watching you organically, because we were dealing with each other years ago. And I remember getting a reading from you and everything else, and watching your growth as well, as far as your progress in your company, your business, your spirituality, etc. And I always like showing love to people that gave an outlet for us. When you're in one of these rural areas and you don't have no community around you, we used to go to YouTube to try to find information. Right. And we find good information through people like yourself. You see what I'm saying? I reach out to a lot of people like that. So I wanted to ask you, so first, you said a lot of different things. First off, you say you're from New York?
Originally born, yes, right in Jamaica, Queens.
Okay, I've been having a lot of people from New York energy cross my path lately. And you live in Florida now? What part?
So Florida now, I'm in Broward County, so I'm more on that side of town, Fort Lauderdale more so, you know? That's
Okay.
Florida.
Okay. Yeah, we supposed to be planning some events down there pretty soon with the Phoenix Rising, um, Phoenix Circle, and a couple different people. So we most definitely got to get you out there for those going to the Tampa
Oh,
beaches, etc. So also I wanted to ask you because you were going real fast and you were saying a lot, and we got to go slow. You know what I'm saying? Well, not really on this page. On this page, they're a little bit more advanced, but for somebody that's just started watching our page, you know for yourself. When I first started, I caught hell when I named my company Arisha Stone because they were like, "Which Arisha Stone? That's not. We don't mess with no stones. That's Celtic. That's this. That's that." And they started trying to put a box or a limit on the Arisha. And I
mhm.
like what you said when you said something about Aloha, because the thing is, I never been to Africa, but I met Alegba right there in New Orleans. I met Ogun right there in Mississippi. So it's like, why or how do we find these energies in the Americas? Are they universal constructs or are these something that somebody brought over here? You mentioned Loa. What is a Loa and why is it so prevalent in America?
Okay, so the Loa is just another name for the power of spirit. They're just the same way as we look at deities, for example, with Kemet, and we see Ru, or the deities of Hathor, the deities of Tahuti. Basically, we know that there is one big hub, which is the supreme creator creatress, the divinity, the divine and masculine and feminine. However, we know that for an energy to be so big, so great, so amazing, it had to be compartmentalized into different departments. So in the different departments that we have everything from the goddess of love to the goddess of war to the goddess of agriculture to the god and goddesses of healing. Nothing really changes. Loa is just a term we use to say the ethereal energy. The energy we know we cannot see, but we can feel at all times. So really nothing ever changes with that. The energy that we're dealing with is still, nonetheless, the power of spirit. The same way they call the Orisha in Ifa, if you will, it is called the Loa here in the indigenous air Americas arena, if you will. I like to look at energy and spirit, and just the fact that we even have different names just means we have to look at this thing kind of like a Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is an energy that we know it broadcasts everywhere, but there are different little sectors where there's different passcodes you gotta enter to get into this Wi-Fi versus that Wi-Fi. It doesn't mean that one is superseding the other or whatever, and we should never box in our energies because our energies quite simply cannot be contained. So we could never be boxed in any kind of way. However, because of society, because of the things that they have instilled, the indoctrination that they have given us to make us think otherwise, we tend to kind of sector off and just stuff, chop all the time. And really, that's not what this is about. Learning is really universal. However, the path called you to come in is never going to be your fault. It's just making sure that you're well rounded and educated enough on all of the power and the sciences that make you this powerful melanated God, goddess, and so forth, this powerful spiritual being with so much energy to give and to share and to exercise and all that. That's what really matters. Everything else is just titles and this and that and a lot of pseudo things that people just try to get feel good off of to satisfy ego, if you will. But honestly, at the end of the day, all that matters is the power of what we are learning, feeling, and then interacting with each other in order to create a better future. That's really what all this is about. People really forget that, like, the grounding and center of all of this is just that and that alone. You know what I mean? It's one universal truth at the end of the day. We may have different routes or detours we took to get there, but we still ultimately are trying to either fight or to improve the same things. You see what I mean? So, but that was a really good question.
No, yeah, we're gonna get into it because a lot of people on all sides. It's a multifaceted war. We have agents on all sides. That means in the community there's agents. Outside of the community there's agents. And in reality, like you said, this is a personal thing to improve your life. One thing about it, people lie and play these little games, and we fall into the movie aspect of it, and they make it seem like Ifa is bad, or voodoo is bad, or hoodoo is bad, or any of those things are bad. When in all actuality, all of them revolve around healing. All of them say the same thing. You can't dish nothing out that you can't take back. Don't dish nothing evil out. You can't do nothing evil. So even the people that kind of dibble and dabble in so-called the dark side, it comes back on them. So you know what I'm saying? And making these Orisha, these ancestors, these Loas, and all these different energies that been protecting us are supposed to be used like Wi-Fi and connect with us like Wi-Fi. We're making them look bad out here. We're using them in the wrong way. We're using them in a whole wrong sense. So
that for 2 seconds, because there's this one thing that they always say in Creole, because obviously the main language when we're talking about Haitian voodoo or just voodoo of the Americas is the Creole language. And FYI fact, Creole is one of the oldest languages known to man that they do not share and tell us. For those who even want more on that, I will definitely send video correlation to you, brother, so you can share with the community, or we can have that another time, however. But we have come across some very powerful information, hidden information about the power of Creole and how long it truly has been around, and the power of that and how we've been using it. That's why when you say prayers in Creole, when you do certain things in Creole, that shit hold weight. It holds so much weight. You would have no idea how much weight that there is in that energy. Well, so as they try to tell us, the Hebrew language and this and that, those are subderivatives of the Creole language. Every language known to man, you can find some Creole in that language, even down to my languages, all the way back up again to French and back around again. But I only say that to say this, going back into what I was trying to get at. And I'm losing track of what I was just saying. I got so into that Creole language thing and just, but you were saying,
we most definitely go into it. Yeah.
Yes, what I was about to go into and saying is that what you're saying, interjecting on what you're saying about, them making it look bad and them telling us it's this and it's that and it's all this other foolishness. In Creole, they always say, magie, c'est couleur ou baile. Magie, c'est couleur ou baile. Meaning, magic is the color that you give it. The color means the intention. If your intentions is for bullshit and to attract negativity and to always be on revenge vibes, and I'm getting back, and I'm gonna put this one in the jar, and I'm gonna hex this, and I'm always here coming for, then that is the kind of things you're gonna tend to always stay down and attract. Now, it's not to say there's not moments where we have to be protective, especially in this crazy time we're living in. However, there are people who dwell on one side. Everything in life is a balance. Everything from your masculine to feminine, your day, your left, your right. You know what I'm as above, so below. What I'm saying is that it's not to judge the ones that stay on that frequency or side. Sometimes in this human genomic experience we're having, there are people that were born and bred. The soul that came back to experience more of the negative and more of the energy that is just stuck like that, because that's part of their karmatic repressions that they have to deal with. So this is the reason why I tell you, or the term everything is truly for real. Because here's the thing. If there's a soul that reincarnated, and we totally can always just say we believe in that. If it reincarnated and its experience came down to have more low-level experiences, more low vibrational stuff, more negative compositories, guess what's going to happen? They're going to see that when they do that, that's where they feel good. That's where they feel comfortable. Now, does that make it right? Not necessarily, because you're here to balance. So their how can we say, learning experience is that they have to learn how to move it, shift, and become an alchemist to balance that shit. But when you see one that's like that, don't feel sorry. Don't say, oh my God, so bad, so evil, stay away. Yes, know your limitations with that energy, but remember, this is the school ground. Everybody came here to pay their karmatic debts and to learn in this class of life. So we let things be what they're gonna be, but when we know better, then obviously we can do better. It's just so interesting though, because when you look at the dynamic, everything really is everything. There is truly no good or evil. There is only cause and effect. So that's why I only came back to say this term. The magie, the energy, the sauce, the woo is the color that you give it. So if you focus your energy only on that negative, only on that funky bull crap, that's what's gonna come back and reach you. But if you know you gotta balance it, that there's sometimes that you're gonna have to fight some wars and knuckle up. And then there's sometimes you just need to lay back and just chill and let the sun kiss you because you know you're so blissed and divine and you just getting all that sweet, sticky, good stuff to come at you. You ain't gotta worry. So in this class of life, I'm saying is that we are literally here to just that because we need both to survive. You know? So it's just interesting. When you know, right?
I say I got to get you on there. Tonight is Matriarch Monday, and like I said, I always try to bring a powerful goddess on because we have to. Are you familiar with the Matriarch, right? Your name is Hathor. I'm pretty sure you do, and we always talk to one goddess named OJ Yemi and the Elders of the Night, and she always talks about karma and karmic debt and everything else. So what you're saying right now is confirmation to everything you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to OJ Yemi. And especially when you're talking about doing any kind of juju, any kind of magic, any kind of anything when you put out there. And also, like you said something about the language, and I know you thought you were saying too much, but I think this is the place for it. Like I'm just holding space. It's Matriarch Monday, so you go as far as you want to go into it because some things need to be said because ain't nobody saying it, and some people don't know these things. So you said that the language Creole is what now? You break that down for me again.
Creates. And let's just basically say in all other universal languages, you're able to find the Creole dialect in all of it. So they tried to reverse us backwards and make us think that, oh, it was French, it was this, it was that, it was everything except what was already here. You have to understand, America is the oldest island. Turtle Island is the oldest island that there is. America is Skull Island. America is Turtle Island. Okay, and there is a reason. Turtle Island meaning that this was the area of peace. A lot of times when there was upheaval and battles and this and that, a lot of the captives or the people that needed to go and rehabilitate, I'm throwback here, I'm going back with you now. They would take them from America and bring them over into Africa to rehabilitate themselves. We are talking about times of Atlantis. We were talking about the times after Lemuria. We were talking about that's how far back I'm going with you. I'm not talking about just the other day on some shit that people think just happened the other day. I'm going into the real backward archives here with you for a second. So I'm saying this because I say this all in all to say is that for those who have not quite had the experience yet in saying prayer in Creole or even learning to understand just how deep this is, you can go anywhere in the Caribbean and even obviously some places and even in which they duped the people and made them think they were speaking French all the while they've been speaking Creole. So there was a bamboozlement in the in-betweens in the midst of how these people tried to deviate us from our shit to make us think that we were speaking some type of so-called colonizer language when all in behold, French is a broken down version from the Creole language, not the other way around. And they have tricked us a million times over into thinking that, oh, French was this hierarchy language and the Creole came as subdivision watered down. Bullshit. So it's just amazing, because, and I say that because when you see, for example, New Orleans, the representation they have either, on TV or when you go there and you have personal experiences going there or however, and you see certain things are invoked in certain, spells or prayers or certain things are in that tone, in that language, it holds a lot of weight. Some of the first energies of zombification came from Haiti, came from the Americas, I should say. So what I'm trying to tell you is here is a super ancient piece of land that we're on. It's not to say that we don't have our ties with Africa. But what I'm trying to tell you about how they gisted this thing up is they tried to make you think Africa is more ancient than here. And that is simply not true. Turtle Island is older than Africa. Indigenous Americas was here longer. Everything from the pyramids to the mountains to the caves to the spaceship remains they found here, all let you know that this thing we call this place here, this big crystal. By the way, Orisha, you know that we're sitting on a big ass crystal. You know, this is huge.
Okay.
The back of the turtle, okay, if you want to really get metaphoric, is a big ass crystal. The big fucking shell of the turtle is this huge, powerful crystal that Mother Earth has activated with her waters. Hence, when you see a sea turtle, you see how that shell just starts to glow. It just starts to magnify itself. And even though you think it's moving slow, it's really moving in light speed. It won't let you see that it's moving that fast. That is the power of a turtle, of a sea turtle. People really begin to twist it. You have no idea how they done played us, how they done made us feel as if being here was an irrelevant piece of information. And lo and behold, the only thing that took place where you can see a certain amount of let me put it this way, most 95% of Black people, melanated beings that live here on this island, America, were already here. It was not a slave ship fake narrative story of thinking you were brought here. That was a very small, notice I said 95%, which means only 5%, along with the slave master, if you want to so-called say, got here. Most of us were already here. This is why when you go into your lineage check, they've been lying lately on those Ancestry.coms and those Ancestry Reveal bullshit that the man-made colonizer tried to give you, telling you from somewhere else farther back. They can't date how far back you are because your DNA is fucking millions of years old. So don't even try it. They are coming at a way to make you think. If we tell you from now, let's put it this way. If I tell you from now that you're not from here, all your lineage and all the stuff you're digging up from your ancestry files and blah, 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 you get the paper, oh my God, I'm this, I'm that. Won't you have a stronger, deeper inclination to want to go back? What if they tell you, listen, man, you know what? This land here, since it wasn't for you in the first place, how about we just give you a one-way ticket, you go back over there. You ain't gotta worry about nothing going on over here. Just go back over there. You don't own nothing over here. You want nothing over here. Not failing to make you realize that all the jewels and all the real good, not to say that there's not over there now, let's not get it twisted. It's all over for us. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this special piece of land, this side of it, have we been lied to for so long to think that it is not special, it is not grounded, it is not majestic. If Atlantis, Lumeria, and all that stuff was right here, how in the hell are you gonna tell me here is not special, here is not what it is? Stop playing with me right now. Like, let's not do this. You are, because you, as this colonizer, think, well, if I play them and make them think they just was over there, you hurry up and take your ass back over there. The land stays for me. You get nothing. You don't reparate for nothing. You don't care because you never felt that you were connected because you always thought for some sick reason that all of your ancestry and your good was somewhere else. That's all I'm saying about that.
I shall say, like I said, you be saying so much, and I can't wait to the time when we're beyond that conversation, because we already know at this point, at one point in time, it was more people that were deaf, dumb, and blind to a lot of this information. Now everything is vice versa. The poles are shifting, aces getting put in places, etc., etc. Even when you said about Haiti, and everything you said was spot on, because I was talking to the goddess I Am Seg, and I Am Seg's Puerto Rican. And she told me, she was telling me the story. She was like, yeah, she was telling me the history of Puerto Rico, just like you were telling me about the history. We always hear the history of Haiti. We always hear the history of Haiti. When Christopher Columbus and the colonizers came to those islands, they found people there. They went to war with people there. They killed the people there. If you found people there, every island you went to, every island, if they went to the Puerto Rico and they found Tainos, that means they didn't bring slaves. There was already people there. If you went to Haiti and had to fight the people in Haiti, then you didn't bring slaves. Them niggas was already there. if you went to all these different places and there were people already there, now you might have released some slaves here and there, but it was still wasn't enough to change the whole population. Everything's been lied to. I don't argue with people. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Some people, we're gonna have a lot of cool conversations through these next days. This one is a powerful day because I got you. In a few days, I might have a conversation with some goddesses from Chicago. In a couple of days, I'm gonna have a conversation with some young guys in South Africa.
Okay, yes.
The reason I bring that up is because it's a word we should study way more called apartheid. And I think they think that we got them, we over here saying, damn, it's fucked up what they did to them in Africa, South Africa. And it's fucked up what they did to them in Australia. Like they didn't do that to us. They're in Australia saying, damn, it's fucked up what they did to them over there in America. Like everybody, we all think, you know what I'm saying, but we all going through the same exact thing, same exact time.
Oh yeah.
Also, when you said about Haiti, a lot of people don't do their research. When you look up Chicago, New York, Haiti, Philadelphia, New Orleans, these places are way older than America is technically on the map. When we start studying Tartarian information of Haiti, and it's sad because the name of the game right now is trick everybody out this spot. The name of the game is get somebody to say something out of impulse, because as soon as they gave everybody these cell phones, people could talk without getting punched in their mouth. They can say a bunch of random stuff. You got people disrespecting the indigenous Black Americans. You got people disrespecting the islands. At the same time, we were always, when you look at the Gullah Wars and everything else, we all have always been known to come together. When we, you know what I'm saying, come together and fight together. That's why y'all have such a tight hold in New Orleans and in Chicago.
That's right.
So they just have to do the research, especially when it comes to Haiti, and also Alexander the Boss. You know Alexander the Boss?
You said Alexander who?
Alexander the Boss.
Dubois?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
What? Are we talking about Dubois?
I think so.
Okay.
He went up against Napoleon, right?
So that's even the whole thing in itself. As we are in this new day and new time, we have come to understand, auntie, that Napoleon itself, that whole derivative and narrative was an absolute falsehood. Now, I know a lot of this is going to sound like, what? Say what? Now, here's the thing. One of the brothers who has done some of the extensive research, who happens to also be my king, is on TikTok. And I'm not trying to get out of context, but it's just so imperative. What I'm going to do for all of you is, if I'm able to, for a second, is really and truly drop this line here. If I'm able to. Not sure if I'll be able to or not. Let's see. I may or may not be able to. Let's see. May or may not be able to. But I say this because the power of this. Let's see. Okay. I'm not able to do it that way. What I would do, brother, is I'll send that to you. The reason why I say this is because, my goodness, we could be here all day discussing the energy behind the revolution and what truly happened one day. What I want everyone to know from the start and from the jump, Haiti was an empire. Haiti has a symbol coat of arms that we have found all over the world. Everywhere from Russia to China, Korea, Venezuela, Colombia, and back again. So yes, the brother here was doing amazing works by literally showing us in real time. So not to get diverted from the power of the conversation, but I only say this because why, if you ever have thought for a second, as just intellectual individuals that we are, why would you attack a country that you so-called say all the time, even till now, that you say is a third world country, is a country that has nothing, is a country that is just so poor, has nothing to offer, the people have nothing to offer. Why to this day would you still be plotting against it so hard if it wasn't something you were hiding, or if that was just simply, of course, just not true? Now, I say this to say, if you're an empire, that means you were running governed under an emperor. That means you have the following things that prove that you're an empire: a crown and several crowns, original crowns, staffs, just like the staff of Tahuti, for your knowledge, for your power, your wand, if you will, of magic, and certain written scriptures. And of course, the most important thing is your coat of arms, your official stamp
that is on every building, every function, on everywhere you turn. You will always see it no matter where you go. Now, everything from Boston, Massachusetts, all the way to Russia, all the way to China. Now, it's so deep to give you a fun fact about Russia. They always tell you, oh, Russia was only one of the first countries that recognized IET's independence when they so-called say our independence came in 1804. Listen, we were free way before that. But what they're telling us here is that they made us think the slave revolt was black people against black people, when it was, or black people against so-called a couple of white folks that came from Europe. When at the end of the day, people don't understand, and this is going to blow your mind. It was white people rebelling against black royalty, saying they were tired of being slaves. The real slaves, and I'm going to repeat this and say this very slow so you understand. The real slaves have always been, and the slaves they truly imported were of white, pale skin. Haiti was already, since the 1500s, an empire. After we kicked Columbus and all those fools out in 1400s, we were already living in royalty due to the fact of being Tartarian, having Tartarian technology in that sacred place, in the caves, in the pyramids, the pyramid, the citadel, again, put or built on top of a pyramid. It is the 7th or 8th wonder, I believe, of the world. Okay, till this day, we still can go and visit it and see this, just like you can go to Egypt and see our greatness there too. So what I'm saying to you is that there's been so much bamboozlement. There's been so much trash. There's been so much audacity. There's been so much
at an all-time high.
At an all-time high.
Look, goddess, I'm just holding space. Please, they say please calm down just a little bit because you're echoing a little bit. Okay. But you look, let it go. Like yeah, you got it. We most definitely with you. Wow, man. I like when you said about the skull island and turtle island. That makes a whole lot of sense too.
See, here's the thing. When you look at the Skull Island, it's the skull of a giant. Remember, giant and titans roamed the whole entire earth at a point. It was not only just Americas or Africa. Most of the time, a lot of the titans and giants, after the big wars that took place on this planet, a lot of them, they sought refuge from what had happened with the Atlantean wars and all of that stuff over into Africa. Africa is a place of refuge. A lot of people don't understand the meaning of, and again, we know that's a false name. It was never Africa. We know it's more of an Al-Quran. It's more our ancient Kemet. We get that. But what I'm saying to you is that we have to remember Skull Island, when you look at it it's a huge skull. It's a skull of a giant. It's a skull of the Titans. This is where they used to be. There's some of them here too, but a lot of them took refuge in Africa. So
I'm gonna put you on something.
Yes.
We say it, and when we say it, people we think we're crazy, right? Like we know America, the land of the plumed serpent. We know where the body is, but then we be like, okay, well we can prove it. We go to the Science Network. I go to a channel called Mud Fossils Pyramids. Check this out, Mud Fossil Pyramids University. And if you check their that channel out, that's all he talks about is, yo, something's wrong. There's giants here. There's dragons here. He's saying the exact same thing you're saying, but we're just saying it off of spirit or DNA activation and what they say, access to the Akashic records. And he's really doing the geography on it. And I think that's crazy how everything's coming full, like in full face. They can't hide it no more.
One big connection, brother. We know it's
everything.
One, and we just with strings pulling from it, but it's all one big bracket. It never change. It never will change. It's just that it's turning on all over the world. The light bulbs, the switches, it's coming up out everywhere. So the same way you go talk to the sufferation you're gonna hear from a brother or brothers in Chicago going through, you're gonna hear some of the same shit going on right there in South Africa, right there in Zimbabwe, right there in Tanzania, right there in, you understand?
Everybody rebelling right now. Every place you just named is rebelling. Tanzania is rebelling right now. But all of the false leaders, the ones that the puppet leaders they have, even the leader of Mexico is a Catholic. No, the leader of Mexico is a Jewish woman.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like, okay, neither here nor there. I ain't gonna get into the politics of it, but you're here, so I'm gonna get into the esoteric politics of it.
Yes.
Let's talk about the code of the serpent.
Okay.
Whereas this is if we're gonna go to the original names of lands, this is American, or the land of the plumed serpent, right?
Yes.
And all the traditions over here is serpent religions and everything else. Now, like you said, they reversed everything vice versa. They got us hating the serpent, but everything over here is the exact same as ancient Kemet, where the way they had their hair, the way they were doing yoga. They show that in the Olmec statues. They're doing yoga. They're doing serpent wisdom meditations. The reason I say this is because when we look at voodoo, when we look at hoodoo, and some traditions in Africa, I'm not going to just say Ifa per se, but there's other traditions that actually work with the python, right? What is the significance between the python, between all traditions, and are the ones in Haiti and the ones that still practice voodoo and hoodoo? Are those the ones that are holding the code for the lands? Because the land has always been for the serpent, but who's still holding up the tradition as the serpent people or the Naga people?
So that's an excellent question. And it just triggered exactly what I wanted to say. So cool. Okay, so listen, check this out, my brother. Now, we have been hearing word and talk about the whole Leviathan situation, right? Where they tell you that that's the snake. Leviathan is this huge, big serpent that is to wake up, that is underwater sleeping, that has its time to wake up because it is going to shake the world, shake the planet. Now, listen to this now. Listen to this. Leviathan. I'm going to break down Leviathan to you in the Creole language so you understand. The reason why is because everything in the Creole language always has hidden clues and mysteries to let you know exactly what it means in real time. Now, check this out. I'm going to break it down. Levi, the people of Levi, the tribe of the Levi. Now, the eye of the Leviathan, or the eye of the huge serpent awake, that is in Mother Earth's womb, which basically just means that it is a child in Mother Earth's womb that is waiting to be opened, awakened, correct? The same way we're in our mother's womb and we start off as eggs before we get into being this whole full-grown function. We are what? Surrounded by water in the sac of the womb. The mother being the womb, Mother Earth, and you have the snake, the sacred serpent, being what they quote-unquote tell you, Leviathan. At first, the name may be something that they try to reference biblically, however, or whatever. But check this out. In the Creole dialect, Leviathan means live it meaning rise. Atan means on time, rise on time. In the divine serpent voodoo tradition, it is called, you know it, yes sir, it is called Dambala Aida. Dambala. Dum, then, being, like, how can we say it? Dumb, how would I say it to you? It's like, dumb being there or under, sort of things. Like, Allah, being there. So it's kind of just telling you the sacred serpent is already there. It is already in motion to where it needs to be. So again, I'm letting you know that all 360 back around to say that this whole terminology, this whole prophecy of the divine serpent returning is nothing that it's returning, it's already there. It's when enough of us wake up the Kundalini serpent energy within us, when all of those lights, these light bulbs that keep turning on every day, all over the world, in the divine chosen people, whether we want to call that the 144,000, whatever we want to bring it back down to, yes, and yes. So what I'm saying to you here is that when it says lever à temps, it says rise on time. Now I'm going to give you another gem as to what I know. Speaking of the serpent people, what you asked, here's the direct answer. The people that practice the voodoo, especially the ones that practice in the caves and near the water, the current prophecy in our tradition in voodoo as it stands right now, from the masters and the old heads, is that Haiti itself, the island, is positioned in one of the eyes. You know, the serpent has two eyes. One of the eyes, the island of Ayiti, is centered or is on top of one of the serpent's eyes. So what that means is all of the separation that they on purpose have put Ayiti through, have made Ayiti go through, when the serpent awakes and those eyes are now completely open, all hell is going to break loose. Meaning the earth, the womb, she's going to start to shake. She's going to start to turn. She's going to start to rocking back and forth and go and go and go and go. And there will be no one and nothing that can stop it. But you know who's going to cause that? Who's causing it? It is not them. It is us. Enough of our energy turned on what we said, game over. We want to reset. This game, you played it unfairly. No problem. We want our reset now. And when we get our reset, then we're going to see. Then you're going to remember who the hell has always been the king and the queen the whole time. What we allowed these not even colonizers, these peasants, they don't even get the term colonizer because they're not colonizers. They are peasants. What we allowed the peasants to do for a short 400 period or for a little 400 period of time, 600 years maybe, somewhere closer to that. What we allowed them to do is while we were sleeping, just like the sleeping serpent, which is i.e. symbolically us, the sleeping serpents, we let them play around. It's like having a baby and a child, and you know, you're tired. You're just gonna sit and watch and observe them. You're not gonna talk too much. You're not gonna scream too much. You're just gonna watch them in their habitat and see if they're gonna pick up on the traits they need in order to become better, in order to become evolutionary beings. But when they do that, then what does Big Mama gotta do? She gotta stand up now. She gotta stand up now. She got to say, okay, wait, you done played enough too much damn times now. I gotta go ahead and give you a timeout. Go sit your ass in the corner. Because now you ain't running shit no more. So what I'm saying now is right now, the divine feminine, like none other before, she is raising her divine serpent energy like never before. It is like wildfire. All the women coming from the church now know that they have been spiritual all along. They know that they've been doing yoga and that shit is spiritual. They know that the shit they've been doing from just cleaning up the house to the spiritual songs have been magic. So the magic is now not only being turned on, but it is now being recognized. It's being recognized now more than it ever has before. So what is going on is that, why is it the women more than anything? Because we are the ones who have the womb. We're nothing but big portals walking. We are walking portals every day on this planet. So every time our feet and our palms touch that earth, we can command and say and tell it whatever we need it to do. Women, my sisters specifically, not that our brothers can't do it too. We need all hands on deck. What I want you guys to do is you can do this at least during the full moon time that's coming up on us in a couple of days. We are actually in the phase of it. She's starting to shine brighter and brighter every day. Full moon in Gemini coming, full throttle. But if you can at least make sure that those feet touch that earth ground and those hands touch that earth ground, and you start commanding what you want to happen, and I'm not talking about commanding just, oh, I need this bill paid, I need this check to come around on Friday. We know that shit is going, that's their system. Fuck their system. What I'm telling you now is ask for big things. Ask for monumental things. Ask for shit that can change up a whole paradigm type of things. That's what I need you guys to do. I'm telling you this because we are closing out from these people's system. This shit is closing out. What I am saying to you is that we must start to open the way, the Vesica, open the way to the real dreams and manifestations that we are the masters of. We did not create this shitty thing that they have here as a system. So we do not need to continue begging for things in it.
I see.
Hello?
I see.
We have to start digging and asking and getting into things that is who masters, what masters would say, how masters would speak, how masters would act things when you know you already seated, centered and grounded with the Divine Mother, and you know you are part of her womb. You don't ask for little stars. We have to start asking as a collective how we need this thing to change. Because listen, they are literally trying to go to war with Venezuela as we speak, my brothers and sisters. Listen to me. Listen to me. This full moon is no joke. To the point where, and I don't have the link set up yet, I am setting it up. I am doing a free FREE, it could be donation based, I could care less, a free meditation I am doing for this full moon on the 6th of December, which is in 5 days from now. This meditation is going to be centered around the 369 energy. The 369 energy, because on the 6th of December, do you know what that is? 3rd month, 6th day, 9th year. 369 coming back around full circle.
Ooh, I'm traveling that day. I'm be traveling that day. That's crazy. I got an event to go to that day.
669.
Damn. Okay.
So, whatever bid you need to put in, magically, spiritually, that day, you do and say what you need to say to her, to them, okay? Because they're listening. And it's so deep. And I shared this before in the past for those who've been my students and stuff, but there is a very special chant, I guess I could call it the best way. It was really a sound frequency, but a chant, if you want to call it, that they gave me years ago. And this was from our more extraterrestrial type ancestors. This was not from just law. This was on the real next level. They made me see them in that form too. And then we were just in this whole channel. So this was back when I was in New York years ago. I say this to say, I've been using it consistently most of the time with obviously just those that know me and when we do things together. However, I am going to share this completely, utterly from the heart on that 369 day portal because, and mind you, this just came to me this morning. This is not, if I knew before, I would have probably had it all promoted before. But you know how spirit can hit your ass. So anyway, I say that to say is we must start to give our commands as if we know this paradigm is completely ending, which it is. The bullshit that they perpetuated for so long is ending. You can feel it in the air. You can taste it. The energy is thick, but it's thick for the right reasons, not for us to be worried and, oh my God, how am I going to pay? What am I going to eat? No, it is not for that. It is for mastering the domain. It is for ending their cycle, putting a, just letting it go so that we can come in as masters of our domain, respectively, each individual, plant the commands of what we need it to be like after the reset takes place. This is what people are not understanding. The reset is not just going to be, oh, well, you blink and it's over. No, but then here's the thing. What were the plans and the intentions that we made or contracts that we made, right, with Mother Earth, with the womb, so that when the new reset happens, guess what? It's going to come out exactly how we intended and want it to look like, because we are her true divine children. We are truly the ones connected because we don't come to hurt Earth. We know the parasites that came here to hurt Earth. They don't look like us. And the ones that do, they've been bamboozled, programmed, etc., sadly, from the non-souls and have become soulless because of the influence around them. That's another story for another day. We know that so far. I say all that just to say we have to implant our commands. This is what I got as a download this morning, just as clear as day. We have to implant our commands. And this does not even have to, listen, I'm telling you this, meaning it didn't even have to be with a candle. It ain't got to be with shit. It is with the temple that is you, that you're literally activating from within through the power of breath and knowing the exact word to chant in order to go into that portal to command what we want to see happen from here on out. This is the power they make us think that we don't have. Bombarding us with everyday life so-called worries and stresses. So, yes.
No. I'm with you. I'm completely with you. Like I could just vibe with you all day. So somebody in the comments, I gotta catch them real quick because they
Yes.
said it a couple of times. They said I think I'm fairly new to this information, open to learning what is true because my spirit knows something is off a bit with how I grew up in full Christianity, in which I knew nothing else, and that's 100% acceptable. We don't judge nobody because the Christianity is the basics. That's why the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. And in the basics, you can go to this book right here.
Or even, yeah. Of course. Of course.
You can
Yes.
go to that book right there, and this is the beginning of your hoodoo or juju or voodoo or ifa or whatever. That's the beginning of your journey right there in the Bible. Solomon practiced magic. David practiced everything they tell you not to practice. All the prophets and everybody in the Bible practiced they damn self. Also, as far as the Christianity thing, me and the slave master can't have the same religion. That's not gonna work out. We can't preach to the same person. One of us got to die. So no, I can't have the same religion as nobody, none of my enemies, and that goes for Islam as well. I don't believe in religion in general.
Exactly.
If it ain't indigenous, if we ain't talking to these trees, if we ain't talking to the sun, they just everything we've been saying for years and years and years, scientifically is being proven right now.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We're just coming to the consciousness of understanding that water is sentient, right?
Mm.
Let's go further than that. We always say Mother Earth, and we say it loosely, not realize the Earth is sentient, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went even further than that. Now they talking about the sun is sentient.
Mm-hmm. Hello. Is it not all connected? Hasn't it always been connected?
And so it's like we can act like all this is brand new information, except for it's not. It's not fairly new information. It's old information. We just got to go back to the source and get past the filters and the bullshit and the illusions. Because the same people telling you don't practice it are writing books about how they practice it.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? The same people that telling you, oh, what y'all talking about a matriarch, oh man, are watching everything you do and throwing it right back in your face. That's what the Pope, the highest Christian of Christians, bows down to a black woman, the Black Madonna.
Every
So,
day. Hello. Talk about
yeah,
it.
no, so the Christian thing, we're a little past and beyond that one. Let me see.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a lot of comments and questions in there. Also, so that's just the introduction. We just getting started. You've been in this for a while. You've been in this for a while. I've been in it for a while. I'm not afraid to say that I started off Sonetta TV and watching it until people started getting, you get to watch the people that can be idols and then turn around and see them become corny or sell out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the state of spirituality is now?
So the state of spirituality is in a very the word I would use here would be a very crossroads-like type of modality. Very at the crossroads. You know why? Too many people been scheming and doing what's not right in the name of spirit. And this is where it gets very scary. Not scary to other people, scary for them, hurtful for them more than anything. Spirituality is at a crossroads. Now let me say this. It is increasing. The power and the energy, the surge of the wanting to know and the lights turning on is truly coming in. I mean, it's strong. So that, make no mistake, it's there. It is fire. You can feel it. However, we must be careful. Using your discretion is everything. Because, oh, hey, Bessie, using your discretion is everything. Because if it doesn't feel right, for example, I'll just give you a really quick example. It's like this, especially for those who are just coming in and, fishing people out and trying to either get some guidance or mentorship or just certain things. I'll just give you a really easy example. Beware of those who told that they can do this, and that, but then they ain't even got their shit straight for themselves. And let's just keep it a buck. What I mean by that is, please don't go over there talking about you could do love work for somebody and you ain't got no person in your life. I'm sorry. Use that shit on yourself.
The scapegoat now. The scapegoat said, "No, we don't need nobody. How you know I want somebody? I want to be alone. I don't want to be no." I'm just trying to figure out where the divine feminine come from if you ain't got no divine masculine. There's no divine masculine without divine feminine. There's no divine feminine without divine masculine. That's I don't know. They can debate somebody else. I don't know.
Sunday church face. Stop. And you know this, man. And you know this, man. Stop playing with me. I say that to say, it's not to say that sometimes people don't take breaks from people or they don't whatever. But what I'm telling you is when you see someone toting something over and over again, please make sure that your structure is up to par because you are, in a sense, a role model. Even for whatever it is that you're branding, whatever it is that you're saying that you do, you must be able to at least prove and show that your magic has successfully worked on you to some extent and degree. Whether that is healing, whether that is having a mate, whether that is, a family dynamic, whether it's saying you get prosperity and riches, whatever that is for you. Don't come here trying to tell our next people to do it, and you're not at least trying to make sure you are putting the proof in the pudding. Okay, this is how you get to be a little bit more discerning about who you choose to be either said mentor or said this or said that. Secondly, another big thing in the spiritual function that I need to mention that's super important that we get on this topic, ancestors. Now I know the word is used all willy-nilly all over the place, but this is what I need to say about this. If right now you have currently been dibbling and dabbling in your magic, maybe without too much guidance or whatever the case may be, or you may be even an intermediate person who's been doing things a while and stuff going and you moving and you jigging and you jagging and whatever the case, but you feel like every time that you go up either for a petition or you go up for something, you're trying to get into something, and it's just not etching out the way it should. 99.9% of the times, you have ancestral lineage blockage. Now, I know that's a mouthful, so I'm going to explain what that means. What it means is, in your mother's lineage or in your father's lineage, there were things spiritually that got jacked up in the lineage that people either failed to do, failed commitments with spirit, failed contracts or promises with spirit, i.e. same thing, really wicked things that people in your family line did to others. So now where there are curses or revenge spells and rituals and curses and things that have been placed on the lineage because of it. And sadly, no one tried to even open a line of communication with you to tell you that's what had been going on. And that's why every time you take 10 steps forward, you only take 10, 15, 20 steps back. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I have seen so many people waste lots and lots of time and precious energy on, how can we say, let me try to just do this quick little money spell. Let me just try to get this little quick revenge spell. Let me just try to get this quick desire spell on real quick. Let me see how that goes. So only go back around in one circle and go 10 times backwards over and over and over again. Now, I say this to say, many of you are not realizing that in order for you to get to the gates of others said, either Loa or Risha, just the power of gaining more traction with your personal spirit guides, you have to first make sure that first crucial layer, by the way, of ancestral divinity in your mother and father's lines are clear, that path is waving nice and easy before you can grab and reap the fruits of your spiritual personal petitions, spiritual guides, etc. Meaning, perfect example. Let's just, I keep going on my all the time to Erzulie Freda. Oh, Erzulie Freda, please bless me with the love of a man. Let me get the man of my dreams. Let me get the car and house of my dreams. Oh my God, I need this so bad. And listen, I'm giving the flowers. I'm giving the perfume. I'm giving all the goods. I'm talking about, listen, lobster shrimp is on the altar. The whole ship. I've got the best champagne. Listen, hello, the clerquet, the moet, all of the good shit. You hear me? But yet, for whatever the reason, no matter how hard my ass is asking, it's about as dry as a desert. On the response, I am not solution, a revolution out of what is going on. So now is when I get to have to stop and pause. Remember, I'm giving you guys this just so you understand. So you're going real hard at an altar with a loa, with a spirit, and you're just really I'm trying to penetrate to get through. Because you need what you need. You need this deliverance. You need this thing to let up for you, right? Cool. So to no avail. This is only just letting you know it is a clear sign that you have ancestral blockage. The gates that deal with ancestral passage is Bawa Samdi and Mama Brigitte. Those are some of the biggest noted, specifically Bawa Samdi, more than just all of it. It's one of the most celebrated Loa energies, gatekeepers, if you will, in the Americas. They have shown him on American Horror Story. They've shown him on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They've shown him everywhere for years and years and years now. Bao Samdi is the Loa that carries the big top hat. He is the skeleton face. He is the master key gatekeeper of the dead. So when your dead are trapped, or your dead are cursed, or your dead are in tranquil spirits, or your dead are not, thank you, or your dead are not in alignment, my dear, my friend, my brother, my sister, the problem now becomes you have to find out what in the hell is going on. Simple function to that. I'm only mentioning this because this has been part of the heavy part of my work, brother, for the last, I want to say, going 2 years now. Most of what I've had to do in my practice as a priestess is to clear out the bullshit, the freaking, just the trauma, the pain, the curses of ancestral bloodlines. It is the biggest work that I have ever had to embark in, and it is some of the most draining, but yet some of the most, some of the best work I've done. However, it is so prevalent in our community. And people are watching in a spiritual community, as we go back to state of spirituality now, are not triggering this point enough and making people waste money, spend money, waste energy, falsely telling them, oh, let me just hurry up and do this low spell and this rich spell, this prosperity spell for you for $300 and everything is gonna go away and you're gonna be okay tomorrow morning. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop letting these people play you and play about who you really are. Because your ancestral connection is part of who you really are, what I'm saying.
That's the sad part. They left the church. They left that energy from in the church. They left the masjid. They left that in the masjid just to go over here and find some niggas with alikis trying to get out for a couple $1,000. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be, the spirituality is self-initiation, especially the path of the serpent and the path of the dragon. It's self-initiation. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people they be trying to play on to the new, there's always a new. I'm realizing that I'm in my cycle of life where I'm starting to see new ones come in.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
I never paid attention to it like that up until I'm paying attention to it like that now. When I first came in, they were looking at me like, oh, who is this? You know what I'm saying? Who is this? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm looking at other people the same way, and I'm like, oh, so it's a cycle. And you don't want to get in that messy cycle. You'll end up like there's a lot of elders right now that's falling because their bullshit can be looked up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say their names out of respect. Because I'm real big on showing love to the ones that've been trying. They weren't from a social media or internet time frame. They had to go get their knowledge the hard way.
Right.
But some information is outdated. You know what I'm saying? And we got to evolve. You know what I'm saying? We can't still be trapped in that. We were just talking about the overmind. You talking about the supreme creator being the overmind of the supreme motherboard. So we can't be still putting in old, outdated ass disc in the game. You know what I'm saying? So
correct. So I just said all that to say that getting revealings of what's really going on in your ancestral line is one of the first, because it just made me think about this brother or sister, whoever it was, dealing from Christian, just coming in. I want to make sure that the people who are either new to this or maybe you skipped that step, because many did, and it's okay. I'm just saying, make sure that you know what's going on in your ancestral line first before everything, because it will save you a lot of pain, heartache, and shitloads of money, just the truth be told. We just got to keep it a buck. So anybody that you go to for any type of guidance or mentoring work, and you don't see them being very loose on the tongue, speaking to you about, well, let me tell you what's going on in your ancestral lines, and can get really into that side with you, run for the hills, because you know now that you're still missing a piece. And of course, use your divine intuition to feel who you're going to come through to with that, or trust with that, because not everybody can divine that particular sector. It's a very serious one, because you have to go, I don't want to say you got a bunch of dark magic, but you must know about the necromancy. You must know certain things of the dead energy to know how to deal and speak with it to get that information. So I've been speaking on Baosanti, Mama Brigitte, since 2016, 2017. So too long to even count, literally. I have videos upon videos on their characteristics, who they are, what they are, how to deal maybe with them, how to even maybe get a little open way of communication with them so they can help you get to the holy grail of that level of information. Because there's ways to get to its levels, obviously. It's a way to respectably get into that. But it is also worth it because it is vital information, is what I'm saying. So,
real quick, because I wanted to ask you before I ask you this question. Somebody said talk about how war against our black women and the black man is emasculated through religion, and just like you just said, the religion within itself. The first time, I mean, if you think about it, even Prophet Muhammad, if we're going to talk about even the religion of Islam, Prophet Muhammad ran to Ethiopia and hid up under the black queen in Ethiopia, but he got ran out of his own situation. And then when he got back on his feet, and now he didn't rule, you know what I'm saying? Now he got back on all the people, whatever, and took over Medina and took over all those different places. He came back to Ethiopia and told them they can't practice their religion no more. And then he started killing the women and killing those. So that's the war right there. It's like we extend ourselves way too much, and that's in their history. That's in the Christian history when they talk about the witch trials. What do they call it? When they were burning all those women?
What now?
What was it called when they were burning all those women?
Oh, you mean Salem witch trials and all that crazy?
Yeah. Like since the beginning of time, you got to realize religion is ran by homosexual men. And it's not even just about no homosexual men. It's really about a homosexual entity, and this entity is more of a hermaphrodite per se. And we can go all the way like I don't have to go into the whole thing, but the whole thing about it is when you look at ancient Europeans, all their queens were men. They were men that just, so it was always a thing. Of course, the war was always there when they wanted to be the women. They wanted the power of the woman. They wanted the everything woman had. Then there's always been a war with them, and it starts. I really believe it starts in that whole European culture thing. You know what I'm saying? Because everything in all of our cultures around the lands were matriarch. So, I was gonna ask you, do you know what a roots reading is?
Say it one more time, brother.
A roots reading.
Say it slowly. Roots reading.
I'm sorry. Do you know what a roots reading is?
Roots reading. Oh yes. Okay. So the roots reading. Yes. What about it now?
Well, one, when you were saying earlier that I think you said, well, saving money because you don't want to go to just any kind of spiritual practitioner. I'm big on that because some people just, especially in Florida, they be going to the nearest Cuban, and that's the worst thing you could ever do. Listen, them people that's the one. Look, they'll see you a mile away. Don't go to nobody that, one, don't understand who you are. Two, I used to always find a black woman. Like, who else would you in the Matrix? Who did Neo go to?
Hello.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I would always go to either you get you get what's the word for it? Confirmation. And I'll spend a couple of dollars if it's confirmation. Well, let me go get a reading from this lady on Canal Street. Just sitting there. She ain't no YouTube or nothing like that. She just a little lady in New Orleans. Let me go get this reading from. And then when I go get a reading from a whole nother goddess that y'all don't know each other from Adam, and y'all say the same exact thing. You were talking about this whole Duty Bookman thing years before I understood what anything was about. Then how many readers are going to keep saying, "Oh, Duty Bookman, this person, that person is popping up in your chart"? So I just say it to say that I don't want to demonize all spiritual because some of those people are actually helpers.
Oh
Some of
no.
when you find the right ones, you look at the credentials, and I think that's why your page was attacked because you had a lot of like you had read a lot of different people like Boomy. People don't realize Mama Boomy, Ocean Boomy, she read Tupac, she read Prince, and she read Malcolm X. You see, you see what I'm saying? That's a nice group to be in. You've read a lot of different people where people can testify about how you changed your life or how you navigated their life. I can name from Beaky's readings from Phoenix the Phoenix Rising. She did readings on me years ago before they started blowing up and everything else. And that's that's the kind of people you get readings from. People that got a long criteria and they know what they're doing, and it's not just a hobby for them.
Yes.
So people that understand the stars, people understand. You can't, like you said, I want to give you a relationship advice. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you relationship advice. So get readings. Get those readings. A roots reading. A roots reading is really important. I think one of my strongest readings that confirmate for me was a roots reading. You can get readings from different people, but get a roots reading. And
in our tradition, we call that it's called an ancestral reveal reading.
I'll say
Yes. So the ancestral reveal reading is a reading divinated rather by the energy of Baal himself, the Baal energy. My king is very versed in that. I get roots and energy off of that as well. And so sometimes they're conducted by me or sometimes they're conducted by the king. And it's because he has that spirit Baal over his head. So it's just very powerful. And what I'm saying is that the things that have just been coming up, sometimes, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you'll have something in your lineage, boy, where for one generation that promised a spirit, a pig as a sacrifice, and I'm keeping it one buck with you. That one thing they didn't do 2 or 3 generations ago is beating your ass in the prison.
that's all you got to do.
It be stuff like that. And mind you, poor thing, it's not you, your fault, because it's not like it was you that the spirit had did or whatever had to be done with, right? But sadly, it's still of that line. So now, here you are, the chosen one, and you know you're chosen because when it keeps nicking at you, to go and find out that you know something's just off and it don't feel right, you know you're chosen because it didn't go or to your brother or your sister. You're the one that keeps knocking at the door saying that it needs you to wake up, go figure out what the hell is going on. You see what I mean? And so that is why I say what I say. Because that right there, so again, I just love that you said that roots reading, what we call it, or have it, goes on this side of town with us. It's an ancestral reveal reading. It gives you all the hidden little ugly, funky stuff that was twisted in the ropes in the lines that we got to break apart, break the chains, so that you can find the deliverance you're looking for in this life. Okay.
And just so we don't get lost, the reason I bring this up is because everybody be talking about they want healing. Everybody says they want healing. Everybody say they want to evolve and everything else. Get a reading. Get your roots reading. She just said it might be something minute that you can fix in your whole bloodline. That's not something that's going to cost you a lot of money. That's something that you sit down with a woman that you know what she's doing, or somebody that knows what they're doing. Get an ancestral reading, a roots reading. You know what I'm saying? You just find a community that's really into that. And when once they realize how to navigate your life, you see what I'm saying? I want to ask you. Let's keep going with the mothers. Matriarch Monday. We talked about Dembala. Let's talk about the mother.
So
who is Dembala's wife?
Mother is none other than Aida. And Aida is the IE energy of the rainbow. She is the all-seeing mother. She's the energy of the divine mother serpent. Okay, the mother serpent is a very strong one. She is one who has the ability to, of course, give us fertility, fertilize us. And that's just not only in the way of the mother giving birth, but we're talking about fertilize your mind, body, and soul as a being. Because we get fertilized in many ways. We think fertility always just means, oh, I'm getting pregnant, I'm having a baby. No, fertility deals with the essence of who you are. Because remember, we all have a snake, the serpent, sits and resides within us. At the base of the root of our spine, all the way up to our crown and beyond, we are serpents. Everything about us is serpent-like. The womb, the the transition from going from the father's sperm to get into the thing to become the egg now becoming the whole sack of the womb. We are serpents. Everything we do, our whole birthing process to come in was serpent-like. Okay, so I say all that because Aida now, she is who also helps us with keeping our psychic clarity alive. Aida Wedo has that wonderful, calm, beautiful, watery, give me the rainbows, give me the everything to keep me happy, joyful. And through that, we gain clarity. So how she works is that when you feel good, when you know, and you are happy and joyful, and give yourself more of the spirit of optimism, then you're able to then pull in the psychic clarity and wisdom. Because Dhamma already is going to give you a quite beautiful light bulb, right, to turn on for the wisdom. But Aida Wedo nurtures it. Divine Mother does, right? She's going to give you all of that cushion that you need and say, here. Use it with joy. Use it with optimism. Use it with positive energy so that the starlight of my rainbow, which she literally, it's like she shows you that she dances on a rainbow kind of thing, so that that can continue to shine bright, that can continue to flourish. Because it's how we flourish as women. When we are happy, when we are joyful, when we're optimistic, we attract that same beautiful, sweet feeling. And it is in the moment of that sweetness that we gain some of the most clarity. The clarity of what to do next, the clarity of the creative project to go do, the clarity of who to connect with, the clarity of how we're going to, divine our lives, or the kind of healing that either we need or our family needs, or how we're going to start bringing that energy into the community and all that. She allows that from the sweet nectar of happiness, of joyfulness, of remaining positive, even when it feels dark, even when it feels no light at the tunnel. She's a rainbow, so she always has light to give. Yeah. So that's the energy of the.
So the rainbow serpent, is it a coincidence that the rainbow serpent is also there's also a rainbow serpent in Australia?
You said in Australia?
Yeah, there's Australian tradition and their rainbow serpent.
Of course, I don't put it past, because remember, the serpent has been revered all over the world. So Australian people are indigenous people. Of course they would have that. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever, because it's all connected. It's all connected. Yeah.
The brother said, can you talk about the stigma against voodoo or voodoo? Some was taught against it through religion. Give us some truth. Give us the truth, I'll say.
Okay, yeah, of course. So we all know the stigma of voodoo is only there because when you are the powerful being you are, you know that you are that, and you embody a living, breathing piece of magic. You're a walking piece of magic. Let me put it like this to you, brother. It's keep it nice and soft and easy on the dial, right? As we move there, right? Clean like water. If you were an enemy and you're playing on a chessboard, right? Wouldn't it be at your best advantage to make sure that to get rid of the king and queens, that you make sure that you push and get rid of, or not even push and get rid, that you would use the pawns first to then eliminate the kings and the queens? Now let's listen here. The pawn is, i.e., religion. The queen and the king are the illuminated ones, the ones that know that it's not bad, the ones that know, and we practice and we move and we do what we're supposed to do, right? Check it out. If you're a pawn, which they use you with, TV, movies, every type of programming in an agenda format that they can, radio, right? Just everything. And the church, of course, using it as part of a vice to say it's evil and it's this and it's that, right? Wouldn't you make sure that your pawns were properly trained so they could take out your kings and queens at any moment's notice? To the point that if I'm the player on the chessboard, I get so good at training my pawn, I don't ever even need to move my hands. There comes a point now I don't even need to move no more. I can just sit back because I've done the work on autopilot to just continue to just let that pawn continue to destroy or get as close as possible to destroy the king and the queen. So, i.e., what I'm telling you is the indoctrination for decades upon decades upon decades is why you could even be thinking, or not to say that you're thinking, I know you're becoming illuminated to this, or that it could even be a topic of discussion, because the whole time they knew that if they indoctrinated you in religion, at work, in your job, in your family space, in the fear of those who know but then don't act on things, i.e. a lot of our parents who play like they don't know what time it is, like they don't know about the juju in the family, want to keep it secret, don't want to say nothing about it, all that was part of the plan, of the divine plan that they were curating to keep us in the dark.
You said the secret. Nobody don't know nothing now.
Hello, right? When you know something is all powerful, hello, you have to always be kicking and jabbing every chance you get. This is what these parasites, again, I don't call them neither supremacists, neither colonizers. They are not worthy of any of those titles because they're not supreme to nothing over here. One. Two, they can't colonize nothing because they ain't never owned nothing. They were the slaves that got brought over. Slovakians, honey. So therefore, I say parasites because that's exactly what they are to Mother Earth. Parasites. To Mother Earth. Boom. And she's getting tired. This is why she's going to awaken her sperm, her tadpole, which is that big ass serpent up under that water. She gonna wake it up and say, handle my lightweight, because they getting on my damn nerves. I done had about enough of their asses. I let them play. I've been sleeping, relaxing, watching and seeing if they was gonna get better. But now mama's got a discipline. Wake up and just go ahead and fuck this whole shit up because I'm tired. This is what Mother Earth is fixing to do. So I totally 10,000% believe, I truly solely believe the divine serpent will awake. It will awake. But it is up to us as to how the procedure is going to take place. We have to command. This just goes back to what I was saying earlier. We must command the way we need that to go. What that story, what that imagery, what that gonna look like.
Same.
Because the rules only take their place if they got a plan. We have to have a plan. We have to command the plan.
Going back to, before I go to the next question, going back to what that brother said about the demonation, how they demonize voodoo. First off, anything that the colonizer, anything you are, I'm sorry, anything that the enemy is afraid of, I'm for that shit. You see what I'm saying? Anything that we use to beat them, and we've used it in the Congo to beat them, we've used it in Haiti to beat them, we used it in the Seminole Wars to beat them, we've used it 1,000 different ways, the juju, to defeat these people. I'm with that shit. You see what I'm saying? That's how you should look at it. Everything's vice versa. If they against it, I'm for it. If they for it, you should be against it. Period. You know what I'm saying? So the next question I wanted to ask you was Mama Wata. Can you tell me about Mama Wata a little bit?
Of course. So Mommy Wata. And before I go there was a beautiful sister. I believe her name is Tavi21. Shout out to Sister Tavi21. I believe she follows us on our channel as well. I'm sending you big love, sister. Yes, you asked me, the question was, would you be available to readings, consultations, etc.? All of that good stuff is on my website. I have places for bookings online for consults, readings, ancestral review readings, spiritual essence to find out the spirit guides, all that good stuff. Cleanses, I do that every December to make sure all my peoples get cleansed the right way before we go into. Now, before I go there, this a real thing. Before we go to Mommy Water, I gotta say this really quick. We are officially in the first month of the fourth quarter. I repeat, we are in the first month of the fourth quarter. December, January, and February is the last quarter of the year. If you know, you know. Zodiac, simple math. I'm not even going to get advanced on this with y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. December is not the end of the year. We are not in the end of 2025 yet. Please stop thinking you have to rush out and, oh my God, I ain't finished up this goal yet. You got time. If you know, you know. It's just simple math. The new year starts in the zodiac of Aries. That is the official new year. Once Aries season hit, you're in the new year, period. Because that is how the zodiac began. And that is how it is going to always be. What I am saying is that December, I will repeat, is only the first quarter of the last quarter. The first month of the fourth quarter for the year. So do not get yourself too crazy up. It is the month that you notice that you want to finish out strong. December just gives you this bell to ring to say, it's time to get for real now. Whatever things I really just needed to straighten out to really make sure my 2025 is going to be lit, I got to use December, January, and February to make sure I make it happen. So for those who understand, or if this is sounding crazy, or the first time maybe you've heard this, do not be alarmed. They have bamboozled us in the calendar. We are using a Gregorian calendar that is not true. And it even goes deeper for those who even believe in the 13th month that we used to have before they took it out. So it even goes deeper with that. An extra zodiac even. It's deep. We have been played for long periods of time. So I just say that to say, you still have time, brothers and sisters, to get your affairs and your things in order. It is not the end. It is simply the beginning of the end, if that makes sense, okay? It's just the beginning of the end. So, you know. Back to my brother now, Mami Wata. Mami Wata says we must drink some water. Give me a minute. So, Mami Wata, very special to me as an energy. Super special because in the voodoo context, she is known as La Sirène. La Sirène is the mermaid goddess energy. It is streaming from the same function of what you would call Mami Wata, Yemaya, Yemodia, and La Sirène, and so forth. So the water energy and deity has always been this since the very beginning. Now what I see is that they have glamorized a lot, majorly, of course. The energy of Mami Wata being that it came more from the West African side of things. Absolutely cool, noted, love, one love. It is all one energy. It's just that they have shared different names in different regions over different eras of time. Nonetheless, the water goddess is of nourishment. She is of compassion. She is of rebirthing. She is of giving us the source of life. Mother Earth, ocean, because Mami Wata deals heavily with what? Wata. The ocean, the waters. It's one big womb. It's one huge big womb. The ocean is one big womb. Whenever you go to the ocean to cleanse, to cry, to release, to rebirth, to whatever, we're stepping into the divine waters of Mami Wata, of La Sirène, of Yemaya, of Yemodia. This is the reason why all women must connect with a water deity over some period of time in our lives. If we haven't yet more personally, you will at some point, because all of us share that just because we are living, walking portals. Everything we do carries an essence of water. Everything we do carries an essence of water. So Mami Wata is one of the most important deities, one of the most important energies that there is. And again, like I said, just in moving in different areas on the plains and everything, she was called La Sirène more so on this side, La Baleine, the great whale, the great mermaid, etc., and all that. None of the principles change. That's what I love about this. And when you really look at it, it really all is tied up together. So there should never even need to be any space for like hateration or any stupidity of, oh, mine is better than yours. How could that be when they just get different names throughout time? Maybe the language dialect changing or different things, but the essence of how they operate, what they can do rather, does not change. You know, it does not change. So that's what's so cool about it. You may call her Mami Wata. I may say Yemaya. Another person be like, oh, I see then. When we all come together, are we not meeting at the ocean to go and praise? Yes. So there you go.
No, I was just about to ask you, but you are pretty much already answered it. I was going to go into the whole Mama Wata and Olakun thing, but like I said, I don't look at one energy or the other. I go whatever name I say at that time when I'm saying it. That's what I need to talk to. So, and the dolphin's going to take where it need to go. Right. So, but this was
how you were taught it, as in, i.e., the same thing with Olakun. moon would be known as metangwe, that energy of the more masculine energy to the underwater realms and so on. You know, in our tradition, he started off as a captain, a sea captain, who had a ship. The ship was called the Imamu, and it wasn't until after a war on the ship, when many transversed over, that he then went into the waters as a dead human, turned now soul, becoming the underwater king, because he had earned his ranks from what he bravely did while he was alive on the waters on that ship. So that's kind of how that whole, you know, vibe goes. But it's just saying, it's his story, esoterically anyway, is just reminding us that the water is what? All source of life, the great mother. The ship, direction, energy and direction. Him fighting a war, the internal wars that we fight of our higher and lower selves. So I'm just giving it to you now on this, just going straight into it as to what the tale was trying to express. That's all it is. And from there, allowing us to understand that then when you cross over and go into the underworld, the deep waters of the blue, you become reborn. And in that being reborn, if you have done the works you are to do while you live in this life, you will be crowned and rewarded to have your space among the spirit realms, the ethereal spiritual realms. That's all it means.
It will manifest well. I'll say.
Yeah.
God, this has been amazing, and I look forward to doing it with you again and again. And tell you, God, the king, we appreciate him too for holding it down the fort. I would love to invite you on again one of these days and introduce you to the elders of the night. I'm always like to say, I'm trying to connect the dots because it's just gonna be real powerful. I got one coming up soon with Mama Kali. We just did something with Sister Myra Moss, and you're in Florida. So when we start doing these events, I most definitely want you to come out. It's gonna be like our own world fair. So outside of that, please, I know you already plugged yourself in on the Facebook, but again, can you tell us about your Facebook, because there's so much information and knowledge that y'all pass in that group. What's that voodoo?
So a couple of things. The first thing I would say is that on the YouTube, I'm not sure in the comment section I'm able to write. It seems because I'm not let me see, chat with everyone in the studio. Let's see. I'm gonna try to keep this simple and easy so that it's not too big of a thing. Let me see if you guys even see this, because I don't know if this is a working thing or not. I'm gonna try and see. See, yeah, that would only be you because you and I are yes. So as far as comments go or joining the chat, that was a bit of an issue. However, just in speaking terms, we'll keep it simple. XLab TV. Once you look up my name, which obviously that's stated on there, Mambo Hathor, Akunaten, or you put anything there with the Voodoo Diva, you'll be able to find the channel for which I share information. The reason why I say the channel over the group, brothers, because I have now created designated playlists on Voodoo for beginners. People who don't know nothing from nothing could go into that, plug in, and get virtually almost every question answered. So if they go to XLab TV, because it used to just be the Voodoo Diva and God, it is now XLab TV because we're going to be doing several different kind of shows on there. So we had to expand the brand's name. Nonetheless, I'm still there teaching and giving the education. It's been a while since we've been on the live. We had other, affairs we had to deal with. There was a pause. However, the playlists have all the juice, all the jewels on the Loa, the do's and don'ts when you're a beginner, being careful of these spiritual charlatans. I mean, I have a wonderful set on a playlist there. So X_lab_TV, very simple, not hard to find at all. That's the channel's name itself. Then when you go in, you can click on playlists. Playlist it'll say Voodoo for beginners. It'll say different topics. Screen Laugh Prize, the infamous talk show that we ran about, I think, 40 plus episodes before we took a pause. It was more than that. Dear God, I think we were like 75, almost 80 episodes, something to that nature. Anyway, that's the acclaimed one where we were talking about spirituality, politics, entertainment, everything under the sun was discussed in those shows. So those are good ones to go back on. And we plan to be coming back in hopefully mid-December. So not too far from now, we plan to be coming and hitting in. There's a lot to talk about. So we will be getting back on Scream, Laugh, Cry, and just kind of really going into the jewels. With the brother who taught more about the situations dealing with the indigenous of the Americas, the receipts to prove it, the Creole, how far back it goes, just all the jewels. Plus, an animated history doc is also on that channel. You can visit on the TikTok. The brother's name is the Angry Chief. The Chief, one word, or matter of fact, I think it's the Voodoo Chief. Even you can do TheVoodooChif, the Voodoo Chief, one word. You start typing it in. The one that's 100K plus followers, whatever. That's the one that's real. They do a lot of fakes on the profile with his name. I think he's trying to blue check it, whatever. However, the one that is, I think he's at like 103K or 104K, somewhere around there. That's the one that's the real one. And that's the one where you can, I mean, he gives so much jewels. It's a shame. It don't make no sense why he give the jewels the way he did.
The way we learned from how they did their accounts before, how they did your account before.
Oh yeah, right.
We don't allow them to do that. Is to stay connected, connected with the people, do little lives, talk to the people, let them know who they're supporting. That's why I like doing this. It's Matriarch Monday. If I'm doing a good job, you give me a like. If this young lady did a great job, guys, what's your cash out?
Hathor 86. Hathor 86.
$. Hathor 86. That's right. $ Hathor 86.
Yeah, $ Hathor 86. HATHR 86. Right.
So if she did an amazing job tonight, which she always does, and you want to support her or find her social media, that's her Instagram, her tag, and everything. And other than that, guys, what else did you have for us tonight in closing?
Well, what I wanted to say is that we must never forget that we are a powerful people. The way that the magic will always work, no matter what divinity brought you to the magic, is to remember the magic that is you, the central divine being that you are, the 7 chakra and beyond being that you are, the layers and layers of ancient DNA that you have all riding up and through you, and how powerful you truly are, the connection you make with Mother Earth on the daily. Remember, in spirituality, it's the little things. A lot of times we think the big hoo-ha, the huge elaborate altars, the this, the that is what, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so what I'm saying is that is the core. That's always what it's going to be. How you connect to the mother. You're inside the womb of the mother. Do not forget her. I am in love with the name, the Matriarch Mondays, because it is so true. And you know, Mondays deals with the moon and the vibes. So I already know what you was getting for with it. And I love and appreciate that you're doing this, brother. Keep doing it. You're needed, you are loved, you are so appreciated. I am so happy to have seen you. Talk about my growth. I am so happy to see your growth, your power, your rise, and how wonderful of a job that you're literally doing in real time. It is so, so refreshing. And you're going to continue to do even more and more beautiful works. And what you're doing, you are called to do. So we are happy that you rose to the occasion, you showed up, you pulled up, and you're making it happen. So proud of you. So, so proud of you. Grateful, proud of you, truly. So continue to do the beauty. Orisha stone, beautiful jewels, symbolic jewels, one of the most beautiful things I've ever had. That I still use to this day, by the way, that I still sun charge and get my groove on with when I'm is a wonderful amulet that was made for me by him years ago as a gift. I know I've shared it on my page a few times, but I will always be more than happy to just bring it back in the ropes again. It's just such a beautiful piece. And it meant so much to me at the time that it was given to me. Everything is always given to you just when you needed to have it. So that was really always very special to me. I hold that dear to my heart to this day. So my brother Orisha Stone is the truth, y'all. And much love to him, his goddess. Everything that he plants seeds, may it grow 20, 30, 40, 50, a million times over. May it be fruitful in all seasons for all the right reasons, okay? For anybody that wanted to just connect continuously with me, thevoodoodiva.com, that is my website, www.thevoodoo
VOODIVA, voodoo diva, one word.com. But on XLab TV, you'll also see that in the description bar as well. So Tavi21, I think you know all the raps. So if you're in the comment section, you can write it for me. That would be amazing. The voodoodiva.com. For those who may not know, you can plug that in for me, sister. I'd be appreciative. For some reason, I can't chat just because of the way I got into the form, which is fine. But again, it's TheVoodooDiva, all one word. So it's voodoo spelled with the 2 O's in the beginning and the 2 O's at the end. DIVA, one word.com. I will be back again. This will not be my last time. So it's
Look,
we got
all about It's all about networking. One thing about it, you in the community, we have they might not see it now, they might see it later, but we have a strong, beautiful network of people. We had got us Lavina on there. I'm pretty sure y'all might do some, there's a lot of people in the chat that we can network with and continue to build. And one thing about it, I know you're a builder. No matter if they might have checked your page or whatever, but you still got the same energy, the same wisdom you had before. So with 50,000, 100,000, whatever, you most definitely still got it. We taking it to, like you say, the old paradigm is out. We in for a whole new age, and we need aces and places. So appreciate you guys for your time. Thank you. I'll let you get back to your beautiful family. And thank you to the tribe. Thank you for everybody that, for supporting. Hit like. That is seeming to help with the algorithm, even though the algorithm won't do what the algorithm do. And I appreciate y'all. And y'all have an amazing night. Adabu.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, share.